Okay, in today's video I wanted to show a demo or sort of installation of the Elzetta ZFH 1500 tactical flashlight holder. You can see it here mounted on this AR-15 on the front, and the reason I got it was because I really didn't want to have a light mount on the side of my weapon. A lot of times if you're using your weapon, if you're down on the ground, if you're holding it sideways and shooting it, you know, gangbanger style or whatever, it's hard to get a good sighting if you got this big flashlight, you know, hanging off the side. So I wanted something a little bit more streamlined, so I could, you know, hang it on a rack in a vehicle or whatever, and it wouldn't be so intrusive. It comes in a variety of colors. You can get it in dark earth, black, and OD. I got this one in OD because my weapon had a lot of OD on it, so I wanted it to kind of match. When you get this thing in the mail, you get a Ziploc pouch with a couple, some screws, the hardware in there that's required to mount it, and you also get the two halves that mount together on your weapon. And then it comes with instructions on the back of the advertisement sheet, spec sheet, that shows you how to mount. Let me show you the light that I chose to put on my weapon. This is a Streamlight flashlight. This is about a $40 flashlight. It's 120 lumens. It's nothing spectacular. It's not a $250 Surefire or anything like that. It's just a basic, $30 to $40 flashlight, and that's about all I can really afford to put on it at the moment. And most of the time, my use of this weapon is in an urban environment, in buildings, and I don't really feel that I need much more than 120 lumens because, it's only going to throw maybe 12 feet away anyway. So here's what comes in the bag. You get 5 screws, 5 nuts, an Allen wrench, and 2 clips here. Okay, so these are used to hold your flashlight. So if your flashlight is a diameter of 0.70 to 0.86, then you would use complete adapters and file or sand if it is necessary. The instructions say if you're using flashlights 0.87 to 0.93, clip the adapters as shown above, and for flashlights over 0.93 or 24 millimeter, don't use the adapter. Okay, so as I said, this is the flashlight I got. This is the card of the flashlight. It's a Streamlight brand, Polytac LED. It uses CR123, 2 of those batteries, and has 120 lumens C4 LED. Nowhere on this package that I could find does it give the dimensions or the diameter of this light. So without looking it up online, I would just have to kind of guesstimate, or just put it together and see what happens. Okay, so the instructions say install with the top 2 screws and the bottom 2 screws. Alright, so I took the sling off. I mounted this piece on here, put my flashlight in there, mount this piece on top, and I can tell even without putting the screws in that this is going to be too loose. It's not going to fit properly even if you put screws in there and tighten it up. So I'm going to have to use these adapters, and they fit in here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's a couple notches. Here's a notch, here's a notch that aren't on the bottom, and they have the same notches in the top here, so you just slide this so that it seats properly in those notches. Okay, so what we could do is try putting one side in but not the other, and see how that works out. Okay, with that in, I can tell it's a little bit tighter but really needs both sides. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one in there as well, and hopefully I can get this to go on. I don't don't think that's gonna work out quite as well as I had thought. Maybe it will. It's probably gonna need to be it's gonna need to be filed down a little bit. So let me do that and then I'll come back. So I know this is a bit hard to see, but you can tell that there are some ribs in this adapter. You can see them there. There's 4 of them. And the instructions say that you can take those off, you can clip them off, and that will make it to where it's not too tight, but maybe just quite tight enough to get your flashlight in the holder. On the instructions here, it shows you being able to remove the clips if you cut where indicated. Okay, so I just used a pair of these small little clippers and I trimmed off all of the ribs in there. So now you still have an adapter, just no ribs. Let's try to put that back on and see if that works now. Okay, so for my particular flashlight, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to take the ribs off of each one of these in order for it to fit snugly and not be protruding out one end. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. The second one, and you can see I'm just going through here and wedging that in, and that one kind of flew off, but that's what's going on. We're just cutting off those ribs and hopefully it'll fit a little better. Okay, now we have that taken care of. Let's go ahead and put this on here. We'll set our flashlight in there and make sure that those are in the notches properly, as they should be, and fit this on here. And it looks like it's going to fit pretty snugly on here now, a little bit better than it was gonna. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in, and then we'll take a look when we're done, see what it looks like. Okay, so I want to go ahead and show you the finished product. I had every intention of showing you actually putting the screws in, but it was quite a difficult task to do with just one person and not having any type of vice grip. Just having to hold these on and put the screws in was not really, didn't take too long. It took me about 10 minutes, but it certainly was not just an easy task. So now the light is mounted. It's nice and snug. I mounted it so that I could take advantage of the sling. If you, a lot of people like to put forward pressure on their sling when they're firing, and with this you can utilize the sling clip there to push the button in. So you put a little forward pressure on your sling and you got a light, or you can push it in really hard and just leave it on. Okay, so there's the finished product. You can see that it's relatively streamlined, fits right underneath, and it looks pretty nice. I think it will, operationally, I think it'll work out. I may do a video at some point in the future of its operation.